See, family, how y'all doing this morning or this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are.
Mhm.
It's another great day to be here. Chill with chill. Uh, Chill town. How's it going?
In fact, on a Saturday morning, let's do it. Let's do it.
Chill. You know where we got to start. Saturday
I know it.
morning.
hmm
We even got a super chat on it. Chill town. Your 49ers
hmm
draft Trey Lance so early in the draft. He gets hurt. Brock Purdy
Yep.
steps up.
hmm
Sam Darnold gets that the backup spot. He
hmm
requests the trade. I mean, the 49ers honor that trade. He goes to
hmm
Dallas, of all places. Sending him to Dallas is crazy.
hmm
Um, do you feel do you feel disgruntled about this? Are you surprised? Are you what's the feelings about this?
I've been adamant about this right from the beginning, Big Ox. We screwed him up. Yes, we did. We absolutely screwed him up. How did we screw him up? He came in the league kind of like in a Mitchell Trubisky kind of way, where I think he only had 12 or I think he had less than 20 starts showing up in the league, right? With the number 2 overall pick, he was a project more than he was anything. And that's how he should have been treated. He should have been treated like a project instead of being thrown to the wolves. This guy is getting on a crew that's already championship ready. And they feel like he's the difference, when in reality, he isn't. We were so in a rush to get him on the field, not even taking a look at his skill set. He doesn't know the pro game. Not only does he not know the pro game, he's not built for the pro game yet, right? He was going to get reps if he sat behind Jimmy G. That first season, he was going to get reps, even the second season. But instead, we push him into the lineup. He gets hurt. Instead of letting Jimmy G be the starter, he was going to get reps. He gets hurt. Jimmy G is now the starter. Jimmy G gets hurt. And now we got to get a ball to Brock Purdy, who, by the way, basically took the ball like, y'all should have just gave me the ball right from the beginning. Forget Jimmy G. Forget Trey Lance. I'm the guy. Y'all should have just given me the ball right from the beginning. But with that being said, us rushing him, us pushing him to the forefront like that, there was such this, because he was the number 2 overall pick, that he had to be automatically thrusted into the starting lineup. When people forget, grooming quarterback, more teams screw up young quarterbacks than they develop them. And there was no reason for us to rush this dude. We were already at the doorstep of winning the Super Bowl. Not only were we at the doorstep, we already had a really good quarterback. And okay, we didn't win the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean that Trey Lance was the difference in us winning the Super Bowl. I would take 5-6 years of elite Trey Lance and him sitting behind Jimmy G or Brock Purdy for 3 or 4 years, as opposed to throwing him out there after year 2 and it doesn't work and it was a wasted draft pick. So,
Speaking of that wasted draft pick, didn't y'all make a significant trade to move up to that pick?
yeah, gave up 3 ones for him. Yep, gave up 3 ones for him. But with that being said, I'm not tripping on because a lot of the players that the 49ers have gotten in the past have been late round picks, right? Have been late first round picks or middle round picks. Now, don't get me wrong. Bosa was a high pick, but Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, guys like that. We've hit Brandon Ayuk, Debo. We've hit on plenty of guys. The fact that we missed on Trey Lance, and I don't think we missed on him. We actually had a really good player. I think the difference is that we screwed him up. It wasn't that he couldn't play. I feel like we've screwed him up. I'm on record saying this is not news. I'm on record saying when I come to the pros, I'm not a pro. I got pro potential. It's your job to teach me the pro game. And I don't think we did that. I think we screwed him up.
Right. Okay. So, but are you confident though with Brock being at your start?
Yes, I said that. I said that when his elbow was screwed up, Big Ox. I said going into training camp, I said it's his job to lose, and I felt like it was his job to lose. I didn't look at him and think that he had to be. I didn't look at him and think that he had to be this all-world guy. I think that he's acclimated himself to the offense really well. He's just last season. They put him in a position, one of the best rollout guys, right? He sees down the field. He can make significant throws. I think that's just going to get better. I feel like that's just going to get better as time goes on. So I'm comfortable with Brock Purdy as our quarterback. I think we can win with him.
Okay, so kind of alluding to what Fever Boy is talking about right here. Cowboys Nation, stand up. This is our year, OG and Bob. So Fever Boy talking about it. What does this mean for Trey Lance behind it?
Ask People Boy who bounced him in the playoffs last year.
But what does Trey mean for the Cowboys? Like, is Dak on his way out? Is Trey going to have some chance to play over there in the next 2-3 seasons? Or
so we in a position. So the Cowboys are in a position where they just extended Dak, who I've always felt like Dak was an average to maybe above average quarterback at best, right? Mm-hmm. He's average to above average at best. I've always felt like that about him. So now we're going to come over. Now we're going to bring a guy in, Trey Lance, who it didn't work with the 49ers. And now all of a sudden they're going to create a quarterback controversy when Dak screws up. So let's say Dak has a bad game or two and they're going to be calling for his head. And let's go with Trey Lance, who didn't prove anything with the 49ers as a result of us screwing him up, where he should sit behind a guy. And I think Dak is a guy that he could learn from. I think Dak is a guy that he could learn from. I think Dak is a guy that could teach him the pro game so he could learn to be a really good quarterback. Now, they could screw this up also by throwing him out there sooner than he's ready. Because, again, I feel like Trey is a project. I don't feel like Trey is Aaron Rodgers. I don't feel like he's Drew Brees. I don't feel like he's that kind of quarterback, but I do think he could be a good quarterback if you develop him the right way. If y'all just want to throw him out there just because he was the number 2 overall pick and you paid him $27 million and he screws up, I think that's on you. We get this perception, Big Ox, that guys that come to the NFL automatically got to play as soon as they show up. Just so you know, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 4 years. Yeah. Steve Young sat behind Joe Montana for 5 seasons.
5, damn.
5 years he sat behind Joe Montana. So with that being said, I get this nonsense about how everybody has to be. We live in such a rush society right now. Yeah. Yo, he's not ready. He's not ready. And the fact that he's getting traded to the Cowboys, FIFA Boy is evidence of that. Like, this is our year. So let's take Dak out the lineup, a guy who got you to the playoffs, for a guy who has proven that he could get hurt and he doesn't know the pro game, and this guy is going to win for you. FIFA Boy is evidence of why this is such a not a casual. I'm not going to say casual. This is why organizations are ran the way that they are, because they listen to stuff like this.
Right.
They do.
Right. One more NFL question before I move on. There's one more preseason game. This is the last preseason game?
Yes.
Right.
I think the season opens on not in 2 weeks. I know my 49ers, we open up against Pittsburgh. On the 10th.
So can I get an early Super Bowl prediction? No fan hat?
Oh, I think I'm taking the fan hat off. The 49ers have their they got their entire core back. Yeah. Right? With having their core back. I think our quarterback situation, contrary to what the pundits tell you, I think our quarterback situation is solid. I think that the 49ers are the team to beat in the NFC. In the AFC, I think the AFC is a nightmare for all teams. Like, I think about the AFC North, but if I had to pick one team, in the AFC, it's Kansas City. I think it's Kansas City and the 49ers in the bowl game.
That'll be a hell of a game.
Yep.
Top of the morning. What's up, Pirate? Okay, so moving on though. So this morning, Team USA, we put a hurting on New Zealand, led by Paulo Banchero. 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Did you check in? Did you see any of that game? Or
he got going? He got going in the second half. He got going in the first half, but he got going in the second half more than anything. And the reason why he got going, watching his game, Paulo is so good. I told you this, Big Ox. He remind me of Antoine. He remind me of a more athletic version of Antoine Walker. That's what he looked like when I watch him. And he got going in the mid range, and he got going on the block, and they kept going to him. Jalen Brunson did a really good job of going to him, not just in transition, but he did a good job in going to him in the half court. He caught him flashing in the middle of the paint, and he didn't take a lot of time. Banchero didn't take a lot of time when he got the ball. Like, he went right after guys, which that tells me, right? When I see stuff like that, that tells me that this is a guy who is developing faster than what people think. And I think he's going to be really good for this team. They handled New Zealand. I really dug Anthony Edwards on the wing, playing defense the way he was playing. I think that's going to be the difference in this entire tournament, the defense, because they're not going to be able to just outscore teams. They're going to run up on teams that can score. They're going to have to slow teams down. I thought Anthony Edwards and Mikal Bridges, I thought they did a really good job on wing defenders. As wing defenders, I mean.
Yeah, I'm impressed by the defense from our young wings. So, Chilltown, speaking of international play, we've been having the past couple of days some talk about international players, specifically Europeans, though.
Yeah.
There was a lot of controversy between Peja Stojakovic and Tony Kukoc and AK-47 and Detlef Shrimp, Jokic, Arvydas.
Hold on, Big Ox. Was it controversy, or is that your man? Is Peja your man? Yes or no?
No, without a doubt. But if you remember, I wasn't even on that episode. You know, when y'all did it, I didn't even have a vote. I wouldn't have voted for Peja to start at the small forward. I would have voted for Tony Kukoc without a doubt.
Right.
But yes, Peja Stojakovic, that's my guy, and I would not allow Pirate to just say Detlef Shrimp is miles ahead of Peja Stojakovic. Pirate was in the chat earlier. That's crazy. Pirate, the link is out there if you want to jump in and please click on that, Pirate. But getting to my point though, Chilltown, I set up not a draft, but just a list for you to rank. I want to know your top 15 international players. You know, so it's not just Europeans. You know, we're talking about South Americans. So Manu can get some love if he makes your list.
Yeah.
You know, of course, Hakeem Olajuwon, you know, guys like that. So we're not going to do them all straight. Right now, Chilltown, I just want to get number 15 and 14 from you.
So number 15, and this list was really difficult, man, because you got a bunch of international players, Oscar Schmidt, right? Tony Paul. You got a bunch of international players who were awesome international players. But I think that Detlef Shrimp was a top 15 international player all time. I got him at number 15, and I got Yao at 14.
Okay, you got Detlef at 15, and Yao at 14. Okay,
yes, sir.
No, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to get that up.
Yep. And a lot of people don't really talk nearly as much about Detlef Shrimp as they should, right? Because, I mean, Detlef Shrimp was one of the first Euros, if not the first Euro, to be one of the better defenders. Because, you know, when you come into the league as a Euro, there's that stigma on you. You soft, or you flop, shooting or you want to do is shoot the basketball. And Detlef Shrimp was not that. He was not that at all. Detlef Shrimp was one of the better rebounders. He was one of the better distributors. At 6'10", he could score with the best of them. One of the best rotation players until he moved into the starting lineup. So, yeah, he was awesome. Okay. And then Yao was an international phenomenon. I mean, what can we say about Yao that we didn't say already?
Yeah, Yao was crazy.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit. Hopefully, y'all can see this.
Yeah.
Y'all let me know. Yeah, I can see it a little bit on mine. Y'all let me know if y'all can see it. Okay. Pirate at breakfast. It's all good, Pirate. It's all good. Yeah, let me bring up Boom. What's going on, Boom?
What's good, man?
What up?
Chill in the Ox. Back again. What's up? What's going on with y'all?
What up?
Okay. I literally just watched the D Wade, Steph Curry, KD talk.
How you feel about
it? It was real nasty. It was going good, and then out of nowhere, it just went left. Chill, the guy that he said recently that he likes production and all this stuff. And then as far as it comes to those three, he had D Wade getting cut. Was it you, Chill? Had D Wade getting cut?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just think it's really odd because people like KD, you know, as far as his game, we all know his game is he's damn near unguardable. Shoot mid range. He's 7 feet, handle, score 30 points. He's great. But D Wade offensively, I think is underrated. As far as getting buckets, mid range, like the whole offensive side of the ball, I feel like he gets underrated a lot.
When you say underrated, what do you mean underrated? So are we talking about Dwayne Wade as one of the best scorers in NBA history? Are we talking about him as, so when we talk about scorers, should we be talking about Dwayne Wade like we talk about Kevin Durant, like we talk about Jerry West, like we talk about Bryant, like we talk about LeBron or Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan? Should we be talking about Dwayne Wade like that?
As far as just scoring the ball?
We talk because you say he
or
underrated.
Just a whole offensively.
That's what I'm talking about. So when you say underrated, how should we be talking about Dwayne Wade offensively?
I mean, if you look at D Wade's offensive game, it certainly was stagnant, his first couple of years.
Right.
But then as we've gone on further down his career, it evolved. And then it got really good. And then it got to a point where he was shooting threes. And then at that point, he was damn near unguardable.
Right.
So when people talk about KD, they all say, oh, he's this, that, he could shoot, he's 7 feet. And then they just catapult him all the way to the top of the mountain. And then when you get to the games, and then when you get into playoff games, and when you get into deep in the postseasons, he just loses. And I'm like, his team was good. His offense is damn near unguardable. He's 7 feet tall.
Right.
He doesn't have nearly as many weaknesses as D Wade. That's what people say. But why is he constantly losing? And then when he doesn't get it done for 8-9 years in OKC, he leaves and goes to the Warriors.
Right.
So I'm like, OKC drafted you out of Texas because they thought that you were, they thought that he was the next, he was it. And then years later, he was. And then years later, he leaves, and I'm like, bro, you got all of this stuff in your bag. You got all this stuff. You dribble this and that. Why are you leaving this team to go play with another team? Your team is not bad.
He didn't think
they didn't really have.
That's why it was a sucker move.
Yeah,
but 100%. He just didn't think he could win with them, and the way he did it was completely wrong. The way he did it was all the way wrong.
So the point is, the offensive capabilities that he has, and people catapult this guy and they praise him, but he turned his back on his franchise.
Are we using that against him? The fact that we using that against him? The fact that he left his franchise? What does that have to do with his game, though?
Well, I'm saying his game is what? You would say he's damn near unguardable, right?
Right. We are saying.
Okay. D Wade, his offensive game. Is it unguardable?
Well, as a scorer, yes. As a scorer, Dwayne Wade is pretty impossible to deal with. Yes, he is.
Okay. So with D Wade and his offensive game on the team that he was on, KD, his offensive game, the team he was on, 1-1, the other one was constantly losing. So if one man's offensive game is translating and people are saying he's not even damn near close to KD, how is KD all of a sudden just better than this man?
Well, first of all, there are two different situations. Number one, for Dwayne Wade to have a top 5 player in his first 2 years in the game, KD didn't have that. That was a bad Oklahoma City team that built it around him, and they ended up getting to the mountaintop. They just didn't. They weren't able to look over that mountaintop, but they were able to get to the top of the mountain. Right, with them getting to the top of the mountain, I mean that was largely due to Kevin Durant. Now, when Dwayne Wade loses Shaq, he goes back to essentially being what Kevin Durant was. Just a guy who gets buckets. And don't get me wrong, it translated on the defensive side of the basketball. It did that. But Kevin Durant, like I said yesterday, Kevin Durant offensively, you got to not offensively, as a scorer, you got a lot of guys who just are an exception. And when you're talking about a guy who can score the basketball like that, at that level, I'm not going to hold it against him that he left Oklahoma City and Dwayne Wade, who, by the way, in 2010 did enter free agency. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that he was signing with Miami. He did enter free agency, and he was looking at other teams. He ended up staying in Miami. That's largely due to the fact that they ended up getting LeBron James and they ended up getting who they got. But I'm not going to hold that against Kevin Durant because he ended up I'm not going to hold that against his game. I mean, Kevin Durant's game speaks for itself. Does that mean he's miles ahead of Dwayne Wade? I don't think he's miles ahead of Dwayne Wade, but I think that he is ahead of him.
Okay, so when it comes to all-time rankings, and then when it comes to people doing start bench cuts, is the reason why they're cutting D Wade is it because of what would that reason be? Because offensively they're close, defensively they're not close.
Yes or no? Was Kevin Durant was Dwayne Wade better than Kevin Durant? Yes or no?
What years?
Period. Today, if Kevin Durant retired today, was he better than Dwayne Wade?
No.
You don't think he
I wouldn't say that.
Why don't you think he was better than him?
Well, for one, D Wade, basketball is two sides of the ball.
Right.
Kevin Durant offensively, like scoring wise, when I look at him on offense side of the ball, I'm like, okay, this man got the goods. Right? Okay, defensively, and sometimes he tries, sometimes he's there, his head's not always on. Okay, cool. Right. And then translation, it doesn't translate like D Wade translated. So okay. Then when you look at D Wade offensively, he's faster, he's quicker, mid-range game, post game better. Well, not better, but he has post game. He could shoot the three. He's more balanced offensively, and then defensively he's better. And then translation wise, it translated for me. Right. So I would put him over KD because of those reasons.
All right, Boone, is your start bench cut from yesterday? You're saying it's Steph, D Wade, KD?
No, I'm putting D Wade first. Then I'm putting Steph, and then I'm cutting KD.
Okay. So if we're going off that logic, then that means that guys that play on both sides of the basketball, and I care about that too. I absolutely care about that.
I think it matters. I think people just get that misconstrued. It's like they just forget about this defense, bro. Like you got to get some shots.
I don't think that people forget about defense. I just feel like with a guy who's offense or as a scorer, sometimes, not in all cases, I feel like a guy sometimes his offense as a scorer is just the exception. So Kevin Durant is the exception. Steph Curry was the exception. I feel like Magic was the exception. And when I think about what Dwayne Wade was as a scorer, I don't think it was close between him and Kevin Durant. I think that Kevin Durant as a scorer is a much better scorer than Dwayne Wade. And I think that with Dwayne Wade being as a defender, I think he was better than Kevin Durant as a defender. But the gap between these two guys scoring, which is the exception in this particular situation, and the fact that Kevin Durant, even though he jumped on that team in Oklahoma, even though he jumped on that team in Golden State, even though he jumped on that team and I thought it was a sucker move, even though he did that, he did do his job. And he did have a top 5 player in the game. And he performed at a high level, just like Dwayne Wade did. Because didn't have to go. That could have went the other way. Steph Curry could have threw a monkey wrench in that. Not only could Steph Curry throw a monkey wrench in that, it could have been a complete disaster, only except it wasn't. So I don't think that these guys are that far apart. But if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm going with Kevin Durant.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, Boone, appreciate you coming up, giving your opinions.
Before I go, Domantas Sabonis is that guy.
Oh, okay.
He's that guy,
cool.
bro. He's that guy, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And I'm gonna say chill between these three guys, chill. And you can answer if you want. Tatum, Luka, and the third guy was who was the third guy? Tatum, Luka, and who was the third? And Embiid. Tatum, Luka, and Embiid. Out of those three guys, who do you think is gonna win a ring first?
Tatum.
100% Tatum.
Jason Tatum, I think.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
I'm out of here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. JT's definitely gonna get the ring next up out of those group.
I think this could very well be their year. To be honest with you.
100%. I believe this is their year.
I think this could very well be their year.
Yeah.
To do it. Yep.
All right, let me check out a couple of these super chats. We have one from Liav Star. Start bench cut: Michael Redd, Jamal Crawford, or Lemon Pepper Lou.
So first of all, Michael Redd was a starter, so he starts. Jamal Crawford, I think he was better than Lou Williams. So exactly in that order. I'll start Michael Redd, I'll bench Jamal Crawford, and I'm cutting Lemon Pepper.
Okay. Edward Olea says, I'm impressed with Paolo He's showing two-way potential.
I'm really excited to see what he looks like in Orlando this season. I might even get up to Orlando this season to catch a game. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I might even get up there to catch it, or when they come down here, I might get down there to catch a game because I'm really excited to see what he looks like this season.
Yeah, without a doubt, I have to catch up with Orlando somewhere this year. I definitely want to see them play. I'm really so I was on my way back up from San Diego. I stopped in Oceanside. It was a guy there who he does podcasting, but he said like that. So there's a gym down the street where a lot of the pros work out on before draft and whatnot. And he said that the Wagner brothers, they were there having breakfast one morning. He said that Franz is bigger than Mo. And that he's a legit 6'10". And I was like, no way. Like he's like, no, he's pushed. I would almost say he's 6'11". He said Franz Wagner is huge.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I just got to see those two get down together. I want to see how good they are. I believe they'll be in the running in about give it 3-4 seasons. They'll be they'll be there.
I like this young crew that they got, man. I do. I like this young crew that they got in Orlando. They look like they on to something, man. They do. Yeah. They look like they on to something. They look like they trying to build something. And Paolo, he looks like he could very well be a franchise player. He does. And I'm digging what I see from him.
Definitely. So, Chilltown, let's move on to number 13 on your all-time international list.
So I got Detlef Shrimp at 15. I got Yao at 14, who was an international phenomenon. And the problem is he had bad feet. Otherwise, he would have been like a 13 or 14-time All-Star and a 8 or 9-time All-Pro. But number 13, which is one of my favorite guys, he was basically Manu Ginobili before Manu Ginobili, and that's Sarunas Marciulionis. Right? Sarunas Marciulionis was fantastic. He was one of the bigger guards, 6'5", bruiser, left-handed, one of the best transition players, and he played with that Run TMC team in Golden State, and he was fantastic as a rotation player. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was on that Lithuanian team. He was fantastic. I'm a big Marciulionis fan.
Okay, and so he played the shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, he did. And he could play some 3 too.
Right.
Yeah, he could play some 3 too. But he definitely played the 2 the majority of the time.
Right. Okay. So speaking of being able to play the 2, play the 3, I know there's a guy that we're going to talk about today. That we rank him. A lot of us rank him as a point guard. You say you don't rank him as a point guard. He's more of a combo guard to you. So Steph Curry.
Right.
Steph Curry. He says that him and Magic are the greatest. He answered the question and said, yes, he is the greatest point guard of all time. He was, in my opinion, he was asked this question, and Steph Curry has every right to say that he's the best point guard of all time. I believe he has every right to say that. Do I think he is? No, I do not. But I believe he has the right to. I believe he has the right to believe that.
Right.
So what do you think about that, Chilltown? Like, and I know that you don't necessarily rank him on the point guard list because you call him the combo. But I mean, is there any validity to this?
Well, first of all, you can't be that good throughout your career and not have a massive ego. You can't. There's no way that you could just be that good and just have an aw shucks way about you. Steph Curry knows for a fact that I'm better than all of you dudes, just as a basketball player alone. Forget what I produce. I'm a better ball handler than you. I'm a better shooter than you. I'm better in transition than you. He knows this, and he knows this because he put the work in to be that, right? So now you want to add in production and what I've done over the course of my career. And then you looking at because he's listed as a point guard. I don't list him as a point guard. I think he's a combo guard. But when you look at his career, of course he's going to say, it's just me and this dude. Now, I don't think that he's better than Magic. I don't think it's a question. But when you're talking about guards, I will tell you this, Big Ox. I don't think I can name 5 guards in NBA history better than him. After Jordan, Bryant, and Magic, it gets tricky. Maybe Oscar, but I don't think he was. Oscar might be tricky, but after that, I can't name 5 guards better than him. So again, when you're talking about a guy in Steph Curry listed as a point guard, if you listed as a point guard, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a point guard. Just so you guys know, 2 of the last 3 years, DeMar DeRozan was listed as a power forward, right? So the fact that DeMar DeRozan was listed as a power forward does not mean that he played the 4. He was just listed at that, right? So Curry is listed as a point guard. Well, if I'm going to talk about you like I talk about Magic, Isaiah, Stockton, Oscar, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, Walt Frazier, Oscar Robertson. If I'm going to talk about you like I talk about these dudes, you have to do the things that these guys do. Now, a lot of people will say, well, is Joker a point guard? Because he's a primary ball handler, because that's how I feel about the point guard. Your job as the lead guard, you are the primary ball handler. Now, with that being said, you have to do lead guard stuff. Well, Joker is a primary ball handler. There's a difference, Ox, and a lot of people won't accept this, but there's a difference between running the offense and the offense running through you. The offense ran through Olajuwon. The offense runs through Joker. Even though Joker does handle the basketball, the offense runs through him. Jamal Murray is the primary ball handler, but they run the offense through him. With that also being said, with Joker being a 5-man, he does 5-man things. Well, what are you talking about? He does 5-man things. Who leads the Denver Nuggets in rebounding? Joker. That's what a 5-man does. Who's their best rim protector? I mean, who leads them in block shots? Joker does. This is what a 5-man does. Now, again, he does handle the basketball a lot, but the offense, that's because the offense is ran through him. And he does handle the basketball at the top, but he doesn't handle the basketball like Jamal Murray does, because Jamal Murray is their primary ball handler. So understand the difference. I think the offense runs through Steph Curry, and he got a lot of off-ball action. With him having a lot of off-ball action, that's largely due to the way that offense is set up. Right, the way that offense is set up is conducive to Steph Curry's skill set to make him better, and it worked. And there's nothing wrong with that. The triangle did that. As good as Jordan was, the triangle enhanced Jordan's game. The triangle enhanced Shaq's game. The triangle enhanced Kobe Bryant's game. So with that being said, this offense that they run in Golden State, it enhanced Klay Thompson's game. It enhanced Steph Curry's game. But when you want me to talk about a point guard, when you want me to talk about you as a point guard, like I talk about Magic, like I talk about Oscar Robertson, like I talk about Isaiah, like I talk about Stockton, like I talk about all of these guys, you have to do what these guys have done, and you don't do that. That's why I don't think he's a point guard.
Right.
And what I don't, and real quick, Ox, before you go any further, what I don't want to do is I don't want to misconstrue who Steph Curry is. So if you walk in a room, Big Ox, you see this table over here. This table got Magic and Bird and all of these guys sitting there. And this table got Jordan and James, and they sitting right there. Steph Curry got a table over there by himself. None of these dudes can sit at that table. He got a completely different table than these dudes.
Like Kevin Durant not sitting with Steph?
No.
No?
He's sitting at a different table than Steph.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thinking on it, when you say it's hard to name 5 guards better than Steph, I'm thinking on it. It is kind of tough. It is kind of tough. I actually said
I'm just thinking about
day,
guards, Big Ox. When you just guards, Big Ox.
Right.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. It's kind of rough, and that's why actually a couple of days ago I was saying like I'm about to drop my new revised top 10. Just being on Players Choice with y'all for this time, and just starting to think about other things, the value in basketball, looking at it a little differently. I think I got a couple changes to make in my top 10, and I'm gonna have to drop a new top 10 pretty soon. But before we get to this next couple guys, Chilltown, can I get number 12 and 11 on your top 15 international players?
Number 12 is has the lineage, right? So your man DeMontis, everybody loves DeMontis. Well, he got it from somewhere, and he got it from his father, right? That's where he got it from. He got it from his father. His father was fantastic. So Arvydas Sabonis, I got him at 12. And at number 11, I got Tony Parker.
TP. Okay. Y'all in the chat, man. Y'all let me know what y'all feel about Chillstown's list so far. At number 15, we have Deadlift Shrimp. Number 14, we have Yao. Number
Mm-hmm.
13, we have Marshallonis. Number
Mm-hmm.
12, we have Arvydas Sabonis. And number 11, we have Tony Parker.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay. Well, let me see who we got in the back. Neff, what's going on, Neff?
What up?
Kyle.
Hey yo,
What up?
what up, Chill?
What
What
y'all
up?
got for us this morning?
What up?
How y'all doing?
All right.
Can't hear you, Neff. Neff, can't hear you.
Well, go ahead,
So,
Kyle. What you got for us?
Chill. I was
Neff figures it
watching.
out.
I was watching the panel a couple days ago, and I was hearing y'all talk about Bill Russell's game translating today, like in today's game. And Ticket said something about the greats are gonna be great no matter what era they play in.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you agree with the statement that they're gonna be like great no matter what era they play in, or they're gonna be serviceable and they can play in any era?
I think that if you were great when you played, you'll be great when you played. That's what all-time great means. My game translates to any era. I'm awesome anywhere.
So you think he'd be like a top 10 player, top 5 player?
Yes, I do think that. Yes, I do
You
think
he
that.
would?
Yes, I do think that. As smart as Bill Russell is, the glass cleaner that he was, the defender that he was, I absolutely believe that he would be. I absolutely believe he'd be a top 10 player in today's game, 100%.
Okay, I don't know if I can get down with that fully. I know I can agree that he can play and he can be a positive on a team, and his skill set is would be needed for winning basketball. But I don't think he would be. I don't think his skill set is conducive of like a top 5 player in today's game. Or
And
like
the
a top
reason why
10
you're saying that, because all dudes do is shoot threes, and with these dudes shooting the three ball, and it ain't really translating to winning. What Bill Russell did translated to winning, and he was the sole reason for that. So if he got on the crew, let's say he was on the Lakers, not the Lakers. Let's take the Lakers off the table. Everybody wants to say the Lakers. Let's say he was in Memphis, and as good as Memphis was, now they got a dirty work guy. They got a guy that's averaging 15, 16, 17 rebounds a game, especially how fast the game is today. They got a guy that's averaging that many rebounds. They got a guy that's averaging that many blocks. They got a guy that's that good in transition with a guy like Ja, and they're winning the NBA championship. Let's say they won the NBA championship over the next 5 years. They won it twice. And he was the finals MVP with averaging 17 rebounds and 17 points. How are we talking about Bill Russell?
I think if that happens, then yeah, I think we're talking about him
because that was his game. Just so you know,
as a top 5 player in the game. But whenever what I'm thinking about is guys shooting threes now. I feel like it's a little bit more than that because the game has evolved to where I don't think he would be like an adequate playmaker. Like because a lot of the top players in the league right now they have offense running through them, and they can create open looks for themselves and other people, and they create like open looks for their teammates at a really high level. And I don't think that Bill Russell's game can. I don't think he has the tools in his bag to really do that. You know what I mean?
and that's because you're only looking on one side of the basketball, because you think that playmaking is if you have the ball, you are the playmaker, and that's all playmaking is if you have the basketball. You completely forgetting how Bill Russell revolutionized shot blocking, where you keep the ball in bounds, where you're able to speed the game up. So if he's playing on the Golden State Warriors, and instead of blocking the shot into the third row, he tips it to Steph Curry, where now they speed the game up and they're wide open. So if he tips the ball to Klay Thompson, diving in the stands and tips it to Klay Thompson, keeping plays alive, right? With that also being said, with him being in transition, Bill Russell could stop and hit the mid-post shot. He could finish at the rim. So with all of those things added up, it can't just be a guy who has the basketball like Steph Curry, a guy who has the basketball like Luka and making plays, as opposed to a guy like Bill Russell who's also making plays on the defensive side of the basketball. That's what made him great.
I think I can get down with that. I think I can agree with that. I don't know. I know I could say he'd be a top 15, top 20 player, but I just don't see I don't see a scenario because he would be an amazing defender. He's our first or second greatest defender of all time. But we have dominant defenders in today's game that we don't hold in that high regard. You know what I mean? Like,
Such as,
well, like Bam is one of the most versatile defenders ever. You know what I mean? It's him. He can guard legitimately 1 through 5.
right?
I mean, Rudy's a 3-time DPOY. He's more of a help side defender.
Right.
You know, he's literally just a rim protector.
Right.
I would see Bill as like a combination of those two. You know, a really great rim protector. And I don't think he would guard 1 through 5,
Right.
but I feel like he could move his feet on the perimeter.
With that being said, if you had, I mean, who was in the NBA Finals last year?
Joker and Bam.
Yeah, so imagine Bam cleaning more glass. Imagine Bam rim protecting even more and being able to hit that mid post shot. I mean, how much better would they have been? Just an idea, my man. Just an idea.
You might be onto something. You might be onto
Just
something.
saying.
Kyle, replace Bam with Bill Russell on the Heat. Do you think like that series goes?
I mean, that's kind of a tricky question because
So yeah, it is hypothetical.
Bam did a lot of self creation, like, you know, within like what 16 feet, 14 to 16 feet. He was hitting a lot of them little jumpers. You know, I don't know if Bill's hitting them in the clip or hitting them at that clip that Bam was hitting them at. Sorry, my cat's going crazy right now. But I don't know if he's hitting them at that clip. I know he's obviously going to provide a lot more defense or a lot better defense. But Bam also, I think Bam is a better offensive player than Bill Russell. So it's hard to tell, you know, because it's going to take an offensive, like the Heat are going to take an offensive dip, but they're going to get better on defense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I had to say, I would think the amount they would increase on defense would be enough for like them to get a couple games and maybe even pull it out in the end. Like, I think him essentially becoming like a Joker stopper, I think he would be like the closest thing like we could get maybe to like someone.
I'm 100% confident. I heard Bruce Brown say that their toughest series in the playoffs was against Minnesota. Now, who's the guy in the middle for Minnesota?
Yeah, Rudy.
It was Rudy. I mean, he said that was their toughest series. If Cat could give me some production, maybe we could have beat them.
Right.
Don't get me started. I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down.
Cat's done, bro. Cat's done.
Trying to keep my blood pressure down. I am. I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down.
Wait, Kyle, what do you mean Cat's done? Can you elaborate on that?
He can't. I think
Get the franchise the Ant.
Yeah, he's not a franchise player. He's like he's best served as like your third option, maybe. I think.
I'm on record saying that if Cat is the number one on a playoff team, I think he's the number two
on a
playoff contender. I think he's the number 3 on a championship team. I think he's Kevin Love. I think he's Chris Bosh on a championship team. That's what I think he is.
That. I feel like he'd be best used as, you know, because he is pretty high volume. I feel like if you take his touches down quite a bit, you know, to like a third options touches, make him more efficient, get him some wide open looks, and not have him just bang in the post because he doesn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Just have him kind of stretch the floor.
I don't understand that. Why?
The problem is he just doesn't play defense. He can't play defense. So like it's hard to even have him out there in a championship unit. You know what I mean?
Is it he can't play defense or he won't? Because there's a difference between, because just so you know, Joker
He can't.
Because Joker isn't a very good defender, but Joker gives me effort.
He tries.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Joker led the league in shots contested. So Joker's gonna give me effort on defense. At minimum, Joker's gonna give me effort on defense. He might get scored on a bunch of different times, but he's gonna give me effort on defense. Are we saying that he won't give me effort because he can't do it, or he just won't do it?
I think
he's so slow-footed. He's so slow-footed.
So the
I think it has
athleticism
to
is
do with his defensive IQ too.
That's
not high.
I think that something might have something more to do with that, Neff, because if you look at him on the offensive end, when he's attacking the basket and he goes between the legs, crosses back this way, he seems agile. He seems like he can move his feet. He seems coordinated. He looks like a kid that played guard in middle school freshman year. He moves very well.
He's shifty for a big man. For sure.
So why on the defensive end can't he move his feet? And do that. I think it has a lot to do with effort and IQ.
That's what I was going to say. Like effort and IQ. He just doesn't.
I think it's more IQ. I think it's more IQ than it is effort. I mean, I watched him this season when he got moved to the 4, and he looked like a fish out of water. He didn't know how to guard the 4. He didn't know how to deal with the pick and roll. He didn't know how to deal with switches. So I can teach you footwork. I can teach you how to slip screens. I can teach you all of that stuff. At the end of the day, defense is one thing: effort. Drop your ass, get your feet moving, get your hands busy. That's not difficult, and if you can't do that, then the other stuff, forget about it.
Facts. Well, Kyle, Neff, appreciate y'all. We're gonna keep it moving, man. Y'all stick around. Show's not over though.
Good to talk to you, fellas.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you, fellas. Absolutely. Good to talk to you, fellas. No doubt.
On Wednesday, y'all.
Yes, sir. We'll be here. Yes, we will.
All right.
We got a good list going here. We got a good list going.
Yeah. Let's I'm gonna get to a couple of these super chats. We never miss the super chats. Let's do this before we head back to that list. Let me see what do we have from GOTN. Reggie Miller versus DeMar DeRozan.
I think DeMar DeRozan was a little bit more of a scorer. I think he was more versatile as a scorer, but Reggie Miller, I mean, his playoff translation, it was so much better than DeMar DeRozan's. So because it was so much better than DeMar, even though they were basically the same in terms of accolades and being all pros. I mean, DeMar DeRozan was I think he was second team all pro. Reggie Miller never made more than third team all pro. But with that being said, Reggie was the anchor. Reggie was the guy who his team was going deep into the playoffs, and then it was off the strength of him. Yeah, it was off the strength of him. So if I had to, and he had much bigger moments. So if I had to go between the two of those guys, it would be Reggie Miller.
Okay. From Drip Bayless, would Bill be the best defender today?
I think he would be. I do. I think, and if he's not, I think that we're having a serious conversation about him being the best defender. A prime example, Big Ox, you and I had a conversation about who the defensive player of the year is. I think it's Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley and Bill Russell, in terms of size, let's just go off size alone. Him and Evan Mobley aren't that different. It's not like Evan Mobley is 255, 260 pounds. They're both slender in their build, right? The difference is that Bill Russell's a lot smarter as a defender. Bill Russell, I think that he was just as good, if not a better athlete. His ability to rebound, I think that Bill Russell would definitely be in that same conversation with guys like Anthony Davis, Bam, and I don't think it's past that. I'm talking Anthony Davis. I think he'd be better than Jaren Jackson today. Yes, I do.
That's fair. So, Chilltown, we are at number 10. Can I get number 10 on this list?
I feel like when you get a nickname as a Euro, it's pretty difficult to leave you off the list. So when I think about the Croatian sensation in Toni Kukoc, I think about a guy who revolutionized the game at 6'11", could shoot the long ball. Not only could shoot the long ball, could get to the basket, dragging big guys away from the basket. So Toni Kukoc, I have him at number 10.
Okay. Kukoc at number 10. And who do we have at number 9?
At number 9, we got the reigning league MVP, Cameroon's finest, and Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid makes the top 10.
Yes, sir.
Joel Embiid makes the top 10 with his non-rebounding ass.
Hey, Big Ox, I'm telling you, with you saying that, it really get my blood pressure up because I feel like this dude should be a 12, 13 a game rebounder at minimum.
Man, fact.
At minimum. Like, how many times have you seen him have a I don't know how many times he's had a 15, 16 rebound game. How many times have I seen that? I haven't seen that many times from him.
Chat, y'all let us know how y'all feel about this list, man. Let us know. It seems like a good list so far to me. Oh, we had somebody in the back just left. All right, but we'll pull up Emmanuel. Let me see. Emmanuel, what's going on?
What up?
You here?
We had him and we didn't.
Trey Ball.
Yeah, we had him and we didn't. What up?
What's going on? What's going on with y'all boys, man?
What up?
What's up?
So, I don't know if you're a betting man, chill, and I'm not talking about money specifically, but you've been saying far and wide, telling everybody that the Dallas Mavericks are going to be a play-in team this year, right? So, let's just go ahead and have a straight-up push-up wager. You seem like you're still in shape. If the Dallas Mavericks, because I'm telling you right now, Dallas Mavericks are already going to be a top 5 seed, I can promise you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to shock a lot of people this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, all I'm saying is, when we do, because we're not going to be a play, and I'm not going to even say top 8 seed. Let's say top 6 seed. You got to give us 100 push-ups, man. On chill with chill.
I could 100 push-ups on chill
100
with chill.
push-ups.
That might be a bit much.
All right,
That-
so about
that-
let's go 50.
That might be a bit much. In a straight set, I could probably do 30, maybe 40.
All right. Well, let's do that then. Let's just do that.
I get, now, if they are, now here's the question that I have for you. If they are a play-in team, I need 20 pull-ups from you.
Oh, I do pull-ups every day, so we
Okay.
could do more than 20.
Okay.
Whatever you say on that one.
20. I got 20 pull-ups from you. If they are a play-in team.
That's a deal, my brother. That's a deal.
Okay. We got a deal.
Besides that, that's all I really have to say. Also,
All right,
Bob,
brother.
Also,
Hey,
Bob.
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
What was the wager? I froze out.
So Trey Ball thinks that I think that the Dallas Mavericks are a play-in team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a 7, 8, maybe even a 9 seed. He thinks they're a top 5 seed. If they end up as a top 5 seed, I got to give you between 30 and 40 push-ups straight up.
Mm-hmm.
On chill with chill. I got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't and they're a play-in team, Trey Ball got to give me 20 pull-ups.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. And
That's
like I
the
said,
deal.
besides that, the only other thing is, Bob, why you have so much hate in your heart for Jokic?
For Jokic?
Yes.
I don't got no hate in my heart for Jokic.
Bro, yesterday you
know
said you would take Vlade Divac. Who else? I don't know if you was trolling or not. You said Vlade Divac.
Well, I was serious about Arvydas. I was serious about Arvydas Sabonis. I think he's the best big, the best European big. I do still believe that.
I think Sabonis was a dog. I just don't see how you can just say that.
I mean,
Both
just
of
from
y'all.
what I see from what I saw from Sabonis, I believe in that. It's not disrespect. It's not hate.
Mm-hmm.
If you, I feel like you saying that me putting somebody above somebody. I feel like you saying me putting Sabonis above somebody is disrespect. Is lightweight disrespectful to Sabonis. Like,
Listen, but above at the level that again, maybe people just don't view Jokic the level. Like, do you realize the level that Jokic plays at?
bro, I watch the same basketball you be watching, bro. I'm seeing it.
This guy is a legit 60% from the field, triple double machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a level I don't think we've ever even.
Well, he
seen.
did. Well, he did that in the playoffs, and that was fantastic. But the question is, and this is why, one, he didn't win the league MVP, and two, I don't want to overrate Joker. I don't want Joker to be now this guy, because usually when you win an NBA championship, this is what happens. I don't want to overrate Joker, but a guy like Arvydas Sabonis, who was basically Joker before Joker, that's essentially who he was. And when we got him in the NBA, he was 31 years old, and his best years was behind him in terms of athletically. He could still play, but his best years were behind him. But he was everything that Joker was, except the better athlete.
You can't say
Everything.
that. You can't
Why
say
not?
if you can say that, then I could say Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was Steph before Steph. And I
He
don't think
was.
that's true.
You can say that.
That is
There's nothing wrong
true.
with
But I don't
saying
think
that.
that's true though.
But I think it is.
I don't think he was at the level of Steph, but again, I just think it's a bit. And again, I ride for the '90s and the 2000s. I just think it is, like Dub told y'all yesterday, it is a tad bit. Y'all disrespect this newer generation, and again, I don't like the newer generation. I can't believe I'm up here standing up for the newer generation. It's crazy. But like y'all have I can't just say Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was Steph before Steph. I can't just say that Arvydas Sabonis was. I can't just.
Well,
I can't say these things.
you can't say Mahmoud was Steph before Steph without putting some context to it. So Mahmoud showed up. He was frying guys, and because of religious beliefs, his game was held back. So we didn't get to see that. Well, the same logic goes on with Arvydas Sabonis. Well, we didn't get to see him in his prime. He got injured. He didn't come to the NBA when we would actually have liked to see him come. But when we saw him early on, everything that this guy was doing, he was doing that too. We didn't get to see it materialize like we would want it. And I would have loved to see Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf play 10 years and be a starting point guard and not blackballed like he was because of his religious beliefs. I would love to have seen that. And I would love to have seen him play 25, 30, 35 minutes and be the shooter that he was, the one-on-one player that he was. I would have loved to have seen that because he was on his way to being an all-time great scorer. So to look at him and go, that was Steph Curry before Steph Curry, yeah, it just didn't materialize because of other reasons.
Right.
But the potential was there, the talent was there, the game was there, and he was showing it.
Like I said, I don't disagree. Chill, I'm from Louisiana, so I watched Chris Jackson. I watched Chris Jackson at LSU.
He was the first freshman in college basketball history to be first team All-American.
Ridiculous.
No other freshman did that.
I've never seen a college point guard play like obviously I'm only 25, so I didn't watch it live, but I go back and watch.
I did.
So Trey ball, this is the thing. I look at it as when I was playing ball, what players did I try to emulate? And I used to try to catch the ball in the high in on the mid post on the block, and I always tell my teammates, when I catch the ball right here, just cut. In this pass, boom, boom, over the shoulder when I'm in the post like that. Mm-hmm. I got that from Arvydas Sabonis and Vlade Divac. That from that elbow, the bounce pass right here to the cutter. I got that from Arvydas Sabonis and Vlade Divac. So when I look at that, it's just like these are guys that I tried to just do little things like how they did. I was very impressed by that. I think Arvydas Sabonis can make every single pass I've ever seen Jokic make. I think he was just doing the same thing. It was just a little different time, so it wasn't maybe as high volume, but right. I still stand on that. Sabonis is the best European big I've ever seen personally. But
I can't say that. Like I said, yeah, you're right. I can't say that he wasn't. I don't know. And like I said, I'm kind of like you guys. I didn't really start watching Jokic till about last year, and I just see a brilliance to Jokic game that I feel like you said, you still said you don't want to overrate him. I feel like he honestly gets underrated. I feel like people don't really understand his brilliance in his game. I think he might be the best player that you would want to play with if you are any other position. If I'm any other position, I want to play with Jokic.
There's plenty of guys.
Outside his defensive liabilities, man, I want to play with Jokic.
It's plenty of wing players. I'm sure it's plenty of wing players that will quietly go, yo, I would love to run with that dude. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. 100%.
Of course. Definitely. But Trey ball, we do got to move on, bro. We appreciate you pulling up.
Good to talk to you, brother. Good to talk to you.
Bro. Stick around.
Absolutely. Don't forget about the wager either.
I won't. And if I do forget about it, come back and remind me. Because I pay my debts.
I got you.
There's a reason why I got a good credit score. I pay my debts.
Right on.
Got you, brother.
Mm-hmm. Chits, you got that good credit, man. I might have to hit you up. I need you to co-sign something for me.
Ox need to hold something.
Ox
need to hold something.
Till what the heck? Hold on 1 second. My the screen share somehow stopped sharing my screen.
Mm-hmm. We all having technical difficulties for a second, folks. We'll be with you in a second. Hang on. We still hot. We are still hot.
I got this right here. Okay, we ended at number 9 with Joel Embiid. Yep. Can I get number 8 and 7 on
number 8 is Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol was in addition to him being a back-to-back NBA champion with the Los Angeles Lakers and an All-Pro the many years that he was with the Lakers. I think he made the All-Pro team 5 times with the Lakers. with that being said, he was FIBA Player of the Year in back-to-back seasons. That's the best international player in the world. He did it not once, but he did it twice to prove. Whenever you do something in back-to-back seasons, what that tells me is that what you did wasn't a fluke. I'm legit. I'm absolutely legit. So for him to do that in back-to-back seasons, that was definitely legit. So I got Gasol I got Gasol at 8, and I got Joker at 7. And we just got finished talking about Joker and how awesome he is and what he does for the international game. I think that one of the main reasons why he is where he is right now is because, he's still got some work to do. Joker just got nice. Joker just got nice over like the last 3 or 4 years. So he still got some work to do.
Right. So y'all see the list so far. 15, Deadlift Shrimp. 14, Yao Ming. 13, Marcelonis. 12, Sabonis, or Venus Sabonis.
Yep.
Number 11, Tony Parker. Number 10, Tony Kukoc. Number 9, the MVP, Joel Embiid. Number 8, Pau Gasol. And number 7, Joker. Y'all let us know in the chat how y'all feel about this list so far. I'm liking it. I kind of like it. Let me see what we got. Okay, here goes Emmanuel right here. I was trying to get you on a minute ago. What's going on, Emmanuel?
What up?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, brother. Can't hear you. Nah, we can't hear you.
No.
See if we can get him back.
Yeah.
See if we can get him back.
We still can't hear you, Emmanuel. We'll pull you back. We'll pull you back.
See if we can get him back.
We got Bulls fan, Mr. Oates. Mr. Oates,
man.
You hot, Mr. Oates?
What up?
Yo, what up?
What up?
How y'all doing today, man?
Good.
Yeah. I got a question, right? So NBA season is coming up. Which teams are your top 10 in the East and in the West?
The top 10 teams in the East and in the West. So just ask us who making the playoffs. That's all you ask.
Yeah. Who making the playoffs?
All right. So I think that the teams in the East, I think the teams in the East are pretty similar than what it was last year. I think that teams like Brooklyn, I think teams like I think Miami, I think they're going to be higher this season than they were last year. I don't think they're going to be a 7 seed. I think they'll be better. I think Boston is at the top of the league. I think Milwaukee. I think Cleveland's going to be higher this year. I think the Knicks are going to be a top 5 seed again. Miami, Brooklyn, maybe. I think Atlanta's going to be a playoff team this year. Did I say Philadelphia? Yeah, I think I said Philadelphia. If I didn't say Philadelphia, and the 2 play-in teams I think are going to be Indiana and Toronto. And in the Western Conference, I think the road to the NBA championship goes through Denver. Road to the NBA championship goes through Denver. I think the Lakers are going to be at the top of the West. I think Sacramento is going to be at the top of the West. I think the Warriors are going to be at the top of the West. And I think I want to say the Clippers, but I also think Minnesota is going to be at the top of the West this season too. I think they're going to be a top 5 seed. Then you got the Warriors, you got the Clippers, you got the Suns. I think Oklahoma City is a bona fide playoff team, man. I know I got the Warriors, but I think Oklahoma City is a bona fide playoff team. Then Dallas and the Pelicans. I don't think I left anybody out.
He asked a question. The question is skedaddled, but Bulls fan still here. What's up, Bulls fan?
Yep.
What's up, Ox, man? I got a question for Chill, man. So, who do you think is a harder offensive player to guard between Giannis and Joel Embiid?
I think Giannis, because Giannis passes the basketball with the best of them, right? There was a stretch where I felt like Giannis was a better offensive player than Joker, and I had to come off that because I went and I was doing more homework and I was watching more film, and I watched Joker's ability to pass in traffic. I watched his ability to pass in transition, and with guys playing off of him. So I had to come off of that. But Giannis going downhill, Giannis creating shots for other people. He doesn't pass the ball. Joel Embiid does not pass the ball like Giannis, and I don't think he play makes like Giannis, not just at the rim, but in transition. Just as an offensive player, I don't think he play makes at the rim like Giannis, and I don't think he passes it like Giannis. I think he's an overall better offensive player than Giannis, better overall offensive player than Joel Embiid.
Okay. So you and also another question: How I don't believe Michael Jordan. I know you said Michael Jordan would lead the league in scoring in today's game. What will rookie LeBron? What would he do in the 80s, in 1985, 84?
If James showed up in the league in 1985, I think he would be fantastic. I think that's. I mean, again, you're giving him 3 extra possessions, and he's playing 4 extra minutes. The athleticism, how fast the game is. I mean, you got guys like Bird. I'm not saying that he was as good as Bird at 21, because I don't think he was as good as Bird at 21, but I think he was better than a lot of small forwards during that time. And him being the primary ball handler, I think that 21 that he was averaging as a rookie with 3 more possessions and 4 more minutes, I think that could be 26, because he's getting more free throws. I think that could be 26, 27.
Fire. Okay.
Yeah, that was it, man. I'm gonna catch you on Graveyard Ox. Thanks for having me up.
For sure. All right, Bulls fan. Yeah, Bulls fan. Let me see. We got a couple more.
And a lot of people say, 18-year-old LeBron. Just so you know, Magic was 20, right? Magic was 20, and he was averaging 17. Something like that. I think Magic was averaging like 17, and he was 20. And he wasn't nearly the athlete, the transition player that James was.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. And he was 20. So,
Chill Town. JB wants to know, Chill, what you know about Keon Dooling?
Keon Dooling was a baller. Went to the University of Missouri. He could score with the best of them. He had I think he had some issues off the court, not legally, but he had some he had some issues off the court. But he was a bucket getter, 6'3", could shoot it with the best of them, could score it with the best of them. He was marginal, right? He would be really good in today's game. He'd be a really good rotation player, but he was awesome. I liked his game.
Terry with 2 dads says, do you also remember when we agreed that as Isaac Okoro was the Dan Marley of this generation?
Did I say that?
Terry with 2 dads sent a earlier super chat.
We had a conversation where I said that Isaac Okoro was the Dan Marley of this generation.
I think Terry with 2 dads is definitely trolling, because now I'm reading this.
Did I say that? Did I say that? Because I'd be really hard pressed to think that watching Isaac Okoro saying that he's gonna be what Dan Marley was. Would I say something like? Because that's nuts for me to say.
Oh no! Look at this one, Chill. Look at this one. Terry with 2 dads said, "Chill. Do you remember when we agreed that Darko Milicic was the greatest prospect we've ever seen, but Detroit didn't know what to do with him?"
Okay, I know where we at now. I know where we at now. That's good.
Typically, I'll try to proofread the super chats, just so I know where we're going. I didn't get around to it this time. Right. I mean, I guess Darko was a great prospect, Terry. I mean, Chill. If you agreed that Darko was the greatest prospect you ever seen,
I know for a fact I never said that. I'm not on the fence about that. I know for a fact I never said that.
But is it possible that you might have said Isaac Okoro is the Dan Marley of this generation?
No, okay. I don't think I would have said nothing like that. No, because Dan Marley was a damn good scorer, and I didn't think that Isaac Okoro could score it like Dan Marley. No, I didn't think that. Right. I did not think that.
Oh man, that was hilarious! I can't believe I just felt.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
Okay, let's get back to this list, Chill Town, because time is going, and I want to make sure we get to your top 15. Right now we're at number 6, Chill.
At number 6, in the words of Charles Barkley, Ginobili. I'm a big time Ginobili fan. Manu Ginobili was fantastic. Yeah, he's arguably the best rotation guard in NBA history. He was fantastic and led that Argentinian national team to a gold medal, which has never happened in the history of Argentina. They have not been back since, and he was the catalyst on them winning the gold medal. There was a conversation which I never really bought into it, but there was a conversation at one point who the best two guard in the world was between him, Dwayne Wade, and Kobe Bryant. There was a conversation. Wade shut that down in 2008 in the Olympics, but there was a conversation.
Well, I've always said there was a time there where besides Miami and LA, Manu could have been the starting two guard on every other team in the league. He was hands down top 3 shooting guard in the league, and that's my opinion. I mean, most people know I'm a huge Manu fan, but so that's the bottom 10 right there. Let's review that with the chat and everybody before we get to this top 5. So y'all stick around. We'll do the top 5 towards the end of the show. We'll put them all down in order. But right now, let's review. At 15, we got Deadlift Shrimp. At 14, we got Yao Ming. At 13, we have Marcelonis. At 12, we have Arvydas Sabonis. At 11, we have Tony Parker. At 10, we have Tony Kukoc. At 9, we have Joel Embiid. 8, Pau Gasol. 7, Jokic. And 16, Manu Ginobili.
Yes, sir.
So that's where we at right now, chat. Like I said, y'all stick around for these last 20 minutes, and we will do the whole top 5 in one whop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this list is turning out to be just as good as I expected it. Let me see. We'll start going 2 at a time. Emmanuel, how you doing with your audio?
Good?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
All right,
what up, Dezo? Emmanuel, what's going on, y'all?
What up?
Yeah.
What y'all got?
Chill about Russell Westbrook. Where do you have him as a point guard? And if you have him in the top 10, where do you have him in the top 10 if you have him there?
I think I got him right outside the top 10. So let's see. Magic, Stockton, Isaiah, Oscar, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, Gary Payton, Walt Frazier, Bob Cousy. I think I got him right outside the top 10.
Sure, they hate that you got Bob Cousy above.
I know Bob Cousy is on though.
I don't know why.
They hate that, bro.
Bob
I don't
Cousy
know why.
nuts.
Yo, just because you did something 60 years ago does not mean that it goes away.
Right.
And somebody did something better than you, right? So somebody did something better years later. But I mean, Bob Cousy anchored championship. He was the point guard on championship teams. I think he averaged 19 and 10 for 7 or 8 straight years. Was the league MVP. He's one of 5. Bob Cousy, Steve Nash, Magic, Russell Westbrook, Oscar Robertson. He's one of 5 point guards to win the league MVP in the 75-year history of the league. That's it.
He's got one too, and I think he's sustained for longer though. So shouldn't that?
Who did?
Russ
did?
Has been Russell Westbrook.
Right, and Russell Westbrook did too. Yes.
Yeah. So is it the championship that's the separator? Because a lot of those are, because of Bill Russell. I feel like he was a product of Bill Russell.
And Bill Russell was a product of him too. Why are you fighting that? I mean, Bill Russell averaged 20 and 20 in the playoffs. Where do you think he was getting the ball from? You think he was just rebounding and getting putbacks?
Not because there's a lot of guys on the team like Sam Jones who was scoring. Tom Hyson was there. Even John Havlicek.
And where do you think they was getting the basketball from? You think they were just getting it and going?
Havlicek can get it on his own and go.
John Havlicek and Bob Cousy.
Yeah, he can definitely get it.
They didn't play with each other. So.
Even Bob Cousy, we harp on Russell Westbrook. See, Bob Cousy even back then was terrible efficiency-wise. He's not good at all.
Are we really talking about efficiency in 1960 when the game just started?
But even back then, he's inefficient even relative to the league because like the league average for field goal percentage is like what 40%, and he's at like 39, 38, 36.
Who?
So
Bill Russell was?
No,
Bob Cousy was.
Yeah.
So you are aware that was the league average. So that was the going rate. So guys like Chamberlain. So guys like Chamberlain, right? Guys like Chamberlain who were an anomaly when you shooting like 60%. Chamberlain was an anomaly. The league I don't really get too much in league averages and stuff like that. But when I think about guys when the league just started, so Bob Cousy never played with Havlicek. The year Cousy retired Havlicek, that's the year he showed up. So he never played with Havlicek.
My fault.
Right.
My fault.
And with that being said, him being the distributor that he was, and the idea that you want to talk about efficiency and you want to bring up Russell Westbrook and you want to talk about efficiency, I mean, those two things do not match. You can't bring up Russell Westbrook and talk about efficiency. You can't. You cannot use that argument. I watched Russell shoot I watched him shoot 39 shots and 43 shots in 2 games in the playoffs. Why is Russell Westbrook doing something like that?
In the playoff, well, with Russ, I feel like with Russ.
Oh, by the way, he had
sure
Paul George and Carmelo Anthony on his team when he did that too. Let me make sure.
Paul George and Melo in that Jazz series. I know that's the one you're talking about. They both played horrible. Russ was like, but if he had to take those shots, because Paul George, especially in Game 7, was so bad. Like I used to get Russ for that all the time, but like I kind of like eased up on him for that series. Because I feel
why do you think
those
guys played? Why do you think those guys played as bad as they did? But go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off. But why do you think those guys played as bad as they did?
I think Paul George was like missing a lot of shots he should have been making. That's with Paul George, and Carmelo was like he was over because like in the league, he started transitioning to a role player. With Carmelo, like I kind of give him a pass because he was like over. Paul George is still like an all-star, all-NBA guy. He just capped the bed, going like 2 of 17, 3 of 15. I think that's unacceptable, especially with the defenders that are on you. Like it's not like you have a great defender on you 24/7. You got guys like what? Royce O'Neal on you, Joe Ingles on you. You should be able to not go 3-15 at all. So I blame Paul George more for that series than Russ. That's just me though.
Yeah, that is just you. Because the Utah Jazz had a top 5 defense that year, if I'm not mistaken. I think Rudy Gobert won the Defensive Player of the Year. They had one of the best defenses in the game. To have a guy shooting the ball 43 times as your lead guard when you got a guy in Paul George who he wasn't an all-star. Just so you know, he was first team All-NBA that year. He was first team All-Defense. He was elite still. I think he went 2 for 16 in the closeout game. So the point that I'm making is when I think about Bob Cousy, the fact that I did something, and I love that you brought that up, but the fact that I did something like 30, 40 years ago, it's amazing how quickly it gets erased when we just talk about guys of today. And we completely forget about these guys. When Bob Cousy, even though he played in the 60s, the Houdini of the hardwood, I mean, there aren't many guys who did what he did. There aren't many.
All right, I have one more. Wait, hold on.
Hold on, Emmanuel. Hold on for a second, Emmanuel. What you got, Des?
I was just gonna say, like they trolling in the chat too.
I think you went in and out, my man. I heard you, but then
talking about
you're breaking up.
Yeah, you trolling.
Nah.
Go ahead. What you about to say?
I'll pull you back. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
All right. So basically, if you're gonna rank Bob Cousy, that's fine. Do you rank George Mikan? Because Bob Cousy and Mikan are 50 players. So if you rank Bob Cousy in your point guard list, George Mikan would have to be in the center list, right?
And I got George Mikan. I think I got George Mikan right outside the top 10. I think I got him. I definitely got him on the other side of the top 10. Like I think I got him at like 11. I think I got him close. I think I got him close to that. So no, I can't. I can't have these guys who played such a long time ago, who were integral parts of what the NBA is today, and just forget about their production and what they did. No, I ain't gonna do that.
That makes. I want you consistent, so I can respect.
Absolutely, I can't say that. I can't say that Bob Cousy is top 10 and then say that George Mikan is 26. No.
Yeah.
Not doing that.
Sure. All right. That's all I have for now.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Dezo, you good?
Am I good?
Yeah, good? You hot. You hot.
All right, cool. I'm gonna make it short and sweet, just in case my internet acts up again. Chill. Nice to meet you again.
What's up, brother?
I just wanted to know, when you're evaluating a young player, like what makes you say like, all right, this guy has promise, like this guy has potential to be like all-star, all-NBA, MVP type of player. Like what in a player makes you say these things about it?
I go back to what I've seen in the past and how it translates. This guy, does he look like this? Or this guy, does he look like that? So for example, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges reminds me of a bigger, maybe a bigger, more skilled version of Eddie Jones when I watch him. And I see I see his game similar to that. And I think about what that guy was. Can you be this good? Are you this good right now? And if you're not, can you be that good? Anthony Edwards is another prime example. When I watch Anthony Edwards, he looks like a more athletic version to me of Mitch Richmond when I watch him. And I'm thinking, can you be Mitch Richmond good? Can you be better than Mitch Richmond? So when I'm evaluating players, I'm looking at what I've seen in the past, and is this guy similar to that guy, like Bam Adebayo? I see Buck Williams when I watch Bam Adebayo.
Okay.
And I'm looking at a defender. I'm looking at a rebound. I'm like, can you be Buck Williams good? Can you be better than Buck Williams? So when I it's easy to evaluate a guy, his ability to handle the basketball, his ability to shoot, right? How does he play in the clutch? Does he do clutch things, right? It's easy to do that sort of stuff. But me, when I look at a player, I look at similarities to player B and player C, and can you be that good? And if you could be that good, then maybe we could be talking about you like we talk about these guys.
Okay. So yeah, player comparisons.
Yes.
Okay. Is that, do like the personalities of the players play into it at all? Like if you hear Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards has done a lot of interviews where he sounds like he's ready to take that leap, like
Yes, he does.
Does that play a part into it?
Yes. The more I listen to this dude, the more I listen to this kid talk, man, the more I watch him, I think that Minnesota got it right. And I think that they may very well have their franchise player. And what happens is when a young guy comes in and you got this other guy here, people have a tendency to make it a tug of war. When in reality, this guy right here in Anthony Edwards, I don't think that they would have a problem handing the reins over to him and him being that guy. I don't think that they would have a problem with that, because he looks like that. Just listening to him talk, watching him put the work in, he looks like the kind of guy who's going to be the future of a franchise.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's all I had. Thank you, Chill.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
All right, brother. You know where to find me.
I'll see you tomorrow, right?
All right, Dezo.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, Big Ox. When I see that sort of stuff, that's what I do more than anything. I'll do a player comparison, and I'll compare this player to this player, and can you be that good? And if you could surpass this guy, then we'll have you matched up against guys like that. Was he better than this guy? Was he better than that guy? So, yeah.
Well, it's about that time to get to this top 5 list of Chill's international players. Let's get it out the way. I want to do it now, not at the end. So that way, if y'all don't like it, y'all can, get in the chat. Y'all can come up and, tell Chilltown how much you don't like his list.
Yeah.
We've already been, Chilltown, I'm catching strays for your list. They talking about we clowns and we don't got no love for Luka. All right.
Why wouldn't we have Luka's better than this? So why wouldn't we have love for him? I mean, I think he's better than this. In fact, since you brought that up, that's where I got Luka at number 5.
Number 5.
That's where I have Luka at number 5. And I feel like if we did this list in another 5 years, I think Luka would move up. But Luka only been in the league 5 years, right? Him being I think he was the EuroLeague Player of the Year. I think his team won the EuroLeague championship. So, I mean, and Luka coming into the NBA doing what he's doing, he's still young though, so he's still got some stuff. He's still got some stuff that's got to get worked out. But Luka is definitely on his way to being. If not one of the best international players, the best international player of all time. He's definitely on his way to being that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what happens when guys get too emotional and can't just hold on. In the chat talking, just relax. We'll get to it. So, Chilltown, who is number 4?
Number 4, I have the Canadian in Steve Nash, back-to-back league MVP. When he retired in the top 5 all time in assists. He was the author of the 8 seconds or less offense. He was an all-pro even before he got to Phoenix. So the consistency was there, and you could see it happening before he got there. And like I just told you, Big Ox, when you do something once, anybody could do something once. When you do it in back-to-back seasons, right? When you do it in back-to-back seasons, what you do is you solidify yourself. And I think it was in the 05-06 season, either the 05-06 season or the 04 season. I think Steve Nash, 04-05 season, I think he was responsible for almost 50% of Phoenix's offense. I don't know any guy today that's responsible for 50% of a team's offense, whether it's scoring, passing, distributing. I don't know if there's anybody that's like that. I don't.
Facts. So it said Luka dropped a light 37 earlier this morning. That's what's up. Okay, Chilltown. Now we are at our top 3 list. Who is number 3 all-time international player?
So number 3 player is the guy that I thought was the best player in the game last season, but I think he just got surpassed by Joker, and that's Giannis, and Giannis has been as good as he's been. I think he's been a little bit better for a little bit longer than a lot of other people on this list that are young, and I think that's just getting better. So I got Giannis at number 3. I got Dirk Nowitzki at number 2. And I got Dirk Nowitzki. Yes, sir. I got Dirk Nowitzki at number 2, and I got Hakeem Olajuwon at number 1.
Hakeem.
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem Olajuwon, number 1. I think that's a proper number 1.
Yep.
So for all of y'all that didn't catch it, this is Chilltown's top 15 international players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off at number 15 is Detlef Shrimp. Number 14, Yao Ming. 13, Marcelonis. 12, Arvydas Sabonis. 11, Tony Parker. 10, Tony Kukoc. 9, Joel Embiid. 8, Pau Gasol. 7, Joker. 6, Manu. 5, Luka. 4, Nash. 3, Giannis. 2, Dirk. Number 1, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty solid list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Was it easy to put that list together, or that was pretty much straight to it for you? Was there any?
What I did initially was I just wrote the names down, and when I wrote the names down, so I had I think I had Joker at 7. I had Tony Parker at 7, and I crossed his name out. I put Joker there because, like I said, I put the 15 down, and then I started crossing names out. I had 1 through 6. That was solid. It got tricky from 7 to 15. That's where it got tricky, and I had to go. Giannis is not Giannis. I'm sorry. Pau Gasol is higher than this. Tony Parker is higher than that. That's not true. Kukoc is higher than this. So it got a little tricky. Definitely got tricky.
So do you believe that there was no room for Dikembe?
It could have been room for Dikembe Mutombo. If I'm putting Dikembe on, who am I taking off? Am I taking Yao off? Am I taking Detlef Shrimp off? I'm not taking Sarunas Marciulionis off. Who am I taking off if I'm putting Dikembe on? That would be tough in terms of an international player. That would definitely be tough.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get these super chats before we wrap things up. We have a new member, or a member for a month actually from Global. Appreciate you, Global.
Yes, sir.
From Rollo 555. Greatest game ever. Boston versus Phoenix 76, game 5.
He talking about the triple overtime game 5 in 76. I don't think that was the best game ever. I think the best game that I've seen, and I've seen a bunch of great games. Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, the best game that I'd ever seen. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I thought that game was the best game that I'd ever seen. 100%. I feel like that.
Andra 15789 says 20-year-old Luka Doncic was 29, 9, and 9.
Yes, he was.
Probably why he's number 5 on the list.
Yes, he was.
Jake, once again, what we said earlier, Luka dropped a light 37 earlier this morning.
Yes, he did. And they won too.
Yeah. And Terry with 2 dads. Who's better, Charles Oakley or Julius Randle?
I think Oak was a better rebounder. I think Oak was a bit tougher. I think Oak was a more team guy. Julius Randle, I think he was a better offensive player. If you want to go with who would you rather, it depends on what the fit is. Oak was better for that Knicks system with Ewing, with Anthony Mason. He was better for that. I don't think Julius Randle would be better for that system. But if you just want to go off players, I think Julius Randle was a better player than him.
Andrew G says, as a Celtics fan, I wish Tatum and Brown would have played in the World Cup. Understand why they didn't. Salute, fellas. Next graveyard shift, Big Ox. probably tomorrow, Andrew. I'll probably schedule them tomorrow. Just turn your notifications on. Yeah. About speaking of Jaylen Brown, you see Jaylen Brown plans on playing in the Big Three today?
Yeah, I did see that, and I'm gonna tune into that. Yeah, I'm gonna tune into that. I think it's cool that he's showing Ice Cube, who is my favorite West Coast rapper of all times, him showing Ice Cube love, and I think it's bringing some notoriety to the league. I think it's helping the league. I think it's a little bit different that a 26, 27-year-old going up against a bunch of retired, 35 or 40-year-olds, and he should do work in that league. But I think it's dope that he's bringing notoriety to that league and giving it some more credibility than what it already has.
Yeah. So I mean, you better be careful. He might mess around and get matched up with Mike Beasley, and nobody wants that. Nobody
wants that. Because remember what he said, Big Ox. I'm your favorite players.
Favorite player. That's a fact. That's a fact. What I did want to ask though, because people, I posted about this yesterday evening, and I just put a little poll, see if people like him playing, dislike him playing, or if it was no big deal. I did have a couple of people message me saying, "Well, they just gave him $300 million. Why would Boston let him play in this?" Do you have any say in that?
Again, getting hurt in a 3-on-3 game, I doubt that very seriously. And again, man, this goes back to the soft thinking of people. If you think you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hurt. Right. I can understand protecting people, right? I can understand protecting the guy. I have no problem with that. But if every time I step on the floor, I know that I'm the property of the Boston Celtics, I'm not gonna put myself in a position to get hurt. I'm out here playing knowing that I'm just trying to improve. If I think I'm gonna get hurt, that's what's gonna happen. And I can't think like that. So, no, absolutely not.
Well, we just got a new member. Your Lost became a YouTube member. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that's members. Appreciate everybody that you had something to tell?
Speaking of members, we got some GOAT members that we got to shout out.
Facts. Man. Sorry for the GOAT members that I didn't shout out in time. I got you right now. Our GOAT members, of course, are Haramis and Mar, Terry, IDWC, and Avion Plumber. We definitely appreciate y'all. If you want to be a GOAT member, just click on that link. It's no big deal. Actually, we just got another super chat from Terry with two dads. Actually, well, appreciate you, Terry. Who's the greatest team to never win? For me, it's the 92 Jazz and 16 Warriors.
You're talking about 16 Warriors. Probably I'll take the 92 Jazz. I think the 98 Jazz were better than the 92 Jazz. And I'm cool with the 16 Warriors. Yeah, I'm definitely cool with that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, we appreciate everybody that sent through super chats, everybody that came up on the screen today.
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, real quick, let me go ahead and just remind y'all of Chilltown's top 15 international players of all time. You see Deadlift, Marcelonis, Sabonis, Tony Parker, Tony Kukoc, Joel Embiid, Pau Gasol, Joker, Manu, Luka, Steve Nash, Giannis, Dirk, and Hakeem. Y'all go ahead and get in the chat, get in the comments after this video is up, and let us know how you feel about that list. If anything, post your top 15 international players list. As you know, you'll see us on the panel on Monday, but you'll catch us on Chill with Chill next Wednesday.
Absolutely. But until then, drink water, put a suit on, don't drink and drive, love yourself, and call your mother too. Facts. Call your mother. Absolutely.
Call your mother. I'm about to run down the street and go see mine right now.
And until then, take it light, but take it.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Catch y'all on Wednesday.
Yes, sir. We'll be here. Good to see you guys.